Look at that light. We are here to play with light. We are light workers. There's the light and there's the shadow self, right? The unconscious, the subconscious, all that stuff. This video is not about light work or playing with light. Or maybe it is. I mean, all this stuff is kind of just like in the subject of psychology, spirituality, all that stuff. Light, shadow, light, darkness, all that stuff. Anyway, but really, on another note, after all of these years, I have finally discovered the right balance for me when it comes to coffee. For all my coffee drinkers out there, I can imagine that at least some viewers here are coffee drinkers. Love the taste of coffee. I have actually drank coffee throughout my life that is decaf because I love the taste of coffee so much. But when I have caffeine, I just get jittery, right? Like it goes through my body. It's like Mario, like when Super Mario, when he eats the mushroom, he's like, like caffeine just like fucks me up. So I've discovered a balance of like subtle caffeine in a mixture between decaf and like dark roast, which apparently is like the least amount of caffeine out there. And I love it because I like having that little bit of baseline, the subtle caffeine. It just feels great. So I discovered that, and I'm super excited about that. Literally, all of these years that I've been drinking coffee, like all these decades of my life, I just discovered this like days ago, and I'm just having such a fun time with it. But coffee is not the subject of this video either. The subject of this video is self-worth, specifically intrinsic, which self-worth is actually intrinsic, even though a lot of people learned that their self-worth is somewhere out there or out there in that person or in that thing. Um, and I've lived accordingly. I really have. Um, I'm just having such a fun time unlearning self-worth as something extrinsic and untying it from all of the things that I have previously tied it to, because I have so many strings attached to, or I should say, I have had so many strings attached to things externally, right? And it's not like I'm even like cutting them now. It's more so the awareness of it is kind of just like dissolving them and making them disappear and everything. And the coolest thing, in my opinion at least, is when you become aware of these things, and as you become aware of your attachments to these things and these people, because your fucking self-worth depends on it, which it doesn't actually. It's just you've been led to believe that your self-worth is extrinsic and it's tied to all these things. And if you have this thing, then all of a sudden, maybe you have an anxious attachment to it, right? It's funny how much extrinsic self-worth is like partnered with anxious and insecure attachment, right? Because like the way that I've experienced life is that I have learned that my self-worth is tied to things externally. It's extrinsic, right? And so it's like, oh, well, if I could just have that person, or if I could just have that thing or that job, then I'd finally be worthy, right? And then it's like, holy shit, I've got that person, I've got that thing, I've got that job, I'm worthy. But then, of course, the anxious attachment aspect of it creeps in, and it's like, oh my god, what if I lose it? Oh my god, what if I lose it? Oh my god, what if I lose it? Oh my god, then I won't be worthy anymore. Oh my god, then I won't be worthy anymore. Oh my god, then I won't be worthy anymore. It's not accurate, and it's not true. um a lot of people believe, as I have in my entire life. Sorry, I've got a coffee burp. My body was processing a coffee burp. um I've believed throughout my entire life that if I lose whatever it is that I've so eagerly needed, oh my god, I need it. Oh my god, I need it. Oh my god, I need it. Then if I lose it, then I'm going to become worthless. It's just not the reality of it. This light is getting crazy. I'm going to move over there. um, and it's just not the reality of things, right? Um, so the fascinating thing is that, looking at the other way of this, intrinsic self-worth, right? It is originating from the inside. It breeds secure attachment, because the reason why extrinsic self-worth breeds insecure attachment is because you've learned that you need things outside of you to be worthy. That person, that thing, that job, whatever it is, right? So say you get that person, that thing, or that job. Oh my God, I'm worthy, right? But then comes the idea of potentially losing that person, that thing, or that job, right? And with that comes the belief that if you do lose that, then you're going to be worthless, or you're just not going to be worthy. I mean, they're both basically the same thing. Which of course is not true, but you learn to believe that. So therefore, then you have an anxious attachment to whatever it is externally, right? And then at that point, it just sucks because you're probably doing things that you don't want to keep whatever it is that you got. I have had loads of experience with that. And by the way, that is actually manipulative, right? Because if you're doing things that you don't want to do, well, why are you doing things that you don't want to do? Oh, you're doing things that you don't want to do to keep something that you feel like you need in order to feel worthy, right? Um, and again, it's all an illusion. You're not your worth is not based on things externally. Your worth is intrinsic, and that's just the way that it is. But when you don't see it that way, you fucking scramble to collect all these things outside of you so that you'll finally be worthy. You'll finally feel worthy when your worth is intrinsic. And actually, the more you feel your intrinsic worth and the more you realize that it's not tied to anything outside of you, you don't have to be any specific way for people to love you. If people don't love you, that's their problem and not yours. I mean, don't get me wrong, be a healthy, kind person and, you know, have healthy relationships with people. But if people will only love you for who you are other than if, hold on, if people will only love you for who you can be rather than who you are, and it requires you to do something differently, run as fast as you can and as far away from them in the exact opposite direction. That is not healthy. And again, I've had loads of experience with that myself. Um, but it's also humbling to recognize that I have um, indulged in unhealthy, manipulative, and abusive behaviors on my end because doing things that you don't want to do for other people is, well, to get something, whether it's their validation, their approval, their love, that ain't love, um, or this belief of worth inside of you that is attached to them or that thing or whatever it is. Um, it's just not, it's not healthy. You're doing something to get something, right? You're doing something as a means to an end rather than an end in itself, rather than doing it because you enjoy it. Now, the thing about understanding that your worth is intrinsic and the reason why it breeds a secure attachment style um, is because when you realize that your worth is intrinsic and it's not a fucking roller coaster of, I've got it, no, I don't, I've got it, no, I don't, I've got it, no, I don't, I've got it, oh my God, I've got it, oh my God, I've got it, I better not lose it, I better not lose it, what do I need to do to not lose it? Oh, I need to control this other person so that I don't lose it. That's a really good way to lose it, by the way. Controlling another person with the belief that it will keep them rather than push them away is just fucking, it's not accurate. It's a backwards way of thinking. If you try to control somebody, the likelihood that they will stay in your life is slim to fucking none, period. Um, but yeah, so I'm going to open this. Actually, no, I don't need to. Recognizing your worth as intrinsic, which it is by nature. Anything other than that is an illusion. It breeds a secure attachment because you're no longer doing things to get things, right? You're no longer having that relationship with that person or doing that thing or having that job to get validation and approval and love, which it's really not, or worth. You're doing it because you enjoy it. If you lose the person, it's fine. You won't feel bad because your worth is still there. Your worth is not tied to the person. Your worth is not tied to the thing. If you lose the thing, your worth is still there. If you lose the job, your worth is still there. Your worth is not tied to the job, right? And that's just the way that it is, right? And so then, therefore, you're doing things for the enjoyment of it, not to get anything, right? And I understand you could argue, well, yeah, you are doing something to get something. You're doing that to get enjoyment. Okay, let's fucking enjoy life, right? We are emotional creatures. We enjoy joy. We enjoy. That's the way that it is, right? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's healthy. But it's the difference between being anxious because you've tied your self-worth to people, things, and jobs externally in fear of losing them, which breeds anxiousness, which breeds fear of losing worth, which breeds, you know, unhealthy dynamics like control and this, that, and the other. Um, and instead, your worth is intrinsic, and you're approaching it from the standpoint of either way, I'm good. I'm secure. I'm fine. I love me. My worth is intrinsic. It's not tied to anything out there. Cool. I have this relationship with this person. I love them. I'm secure in it because I'm not doing it to get anything. We complement each other, and it's wonderful. And that's just the way that it works. And then you just like let go, and you allow, and you surrender, and you're not attached, and you're just having a fun time. You're doing things for the enjoyment of it rather than to get something. That's the difference.